Let's try that again. All right, guys, I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. And today is no different. So tonight, what we are gonna do, my guest is having a little bit of difficulty getting on, but hopefully she'll be on soon. I think she'll be on soon. I think we got this figured out. The joys of StreamYard. Anywho, so tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about fitness. We're going to be talking about firearms, and we're going to be talking about staying focused. So there's a huge national gun convention coming up in Knoxville in August with Gun Owners of America and stuff like that. And so one of the things that happened recently when I went to there we go, so I can see your comments. I know, dude, the mic was being crazy. The mic was being crazy. Um, but we got it now. Let me see, can she get in? Hold on 1 second. Don't worry. We're gonna have fun tonight. Because the only problem with you can hear me now. Okay. I'm texting my guest. She's still trying to get in. It's like real crazy. All right. So one of the things is when was that? When did I go? I forget when I went. But anyway, went to a convention. It keeps asking me to join through YouTube. Okay. Ooh. Ah. All right. Well, this is what we're gonna do. 1 second. Uh so we're trying to get my guests in, but you have to join through YouTube. So she's gonna try one more time. We're trying to get this working. If it doesn't work, I will have to sign off of here and go straight through IG. Let's see. We'll give her a minute. Anyway, while she's figuring that out, we'll get back in. All right. So, like I said, tonight we are going to talk about fitness, focus, and firearms. Now, definitely in the past year, I've been a lot more vocal about my support of firearms and my support of just people having Second Amendment rights, and the fact that I feel women especially should learn to utilize a firearm. Now, a lot of women um are fearful. They're scared for whatever reason. I don't, I get it. The first time, I guess, is super scary. Um, but I think it's important that people, whether you decide to have one or not, I just think it's super important that you learn how to use it. The world is a crazy place, and it's not. The world is a crazy place, and you got to be ready. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So tonight, once I get my guests on here, if I have to log out and go to a different platform, we will. I'm waiting for her to let me know. She's like texting me now, trying to figure this out. Um, the thing that's important is that you learn to use one just because you should. You just because it's important. It's your Second Amendment right, and I don't ever personally want to be caught out there in those streets without it. I don't. So one of the things that I recently discovered is there are other. Since I've shifted my platform slightly, I talk a little more politics. I talk a little more Second Amendment right. I talk a little more about the the insanity of what's happening in the LGBTQ plus community. Because I've been speaking more about those things, I've noticed that, and somebody messaged me maybe 2 days ago. They were like, I haven't seen your content in months. and I knew a while back that I had potentially got shadow banned because this person wasn't the first person to say that to me. So until I find my tribe and until I find my people, I'll probably be shadow banned for a while and not getting the views and stuff. But I'm honestly okay with that. I don't really care. There's so much going on in the world. That is the least. That is the least of my worries. Super the least of my worries. So hopefully we can get her on. Let me text her. And if not, I'll have to go through Instagram. Let's see. So, up, she made it. Hey, friend.
Here, trials and tribulations.
What's going on, friend? Yeah.
I'm good, friend. We trying to figure it out over here. Lord, I'm technologically challenged.
No, you good. You good. I literally was about to go get my iPad and set up so we could do Instagram. I was like, my girl ain't on. Girl.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
okay,
good.
I have to do the iPad because my phone kept glitching out for some reason. I'm sorry about that. But hey, y'all.
All right, let me introduce my guest. She finally made it. This is my friend. This is my friend. All right, guys, I want to introduce you to the tactical baddie, aka Jasmine. Low key, I call her Kiki Palmer. Did anybody ever tell you look like Kiki Palmer?
You think so?
You sound like her. When we was in Dallas, where was we at? Dallas or Houston, wherever we
Dallas.
was. You from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
All right, when we was in Dallas, I was like, the whole time you was talking to me, I was like, this girl sound like Kiki Palmer.
Country, that's all it is.
I know. It's all good though. It's all good. So let's get to the basics. Let's go to the bottom.
All
so
right.
how did you get into firearms? Let's talk about that. How did you get into firearms? How did you get interested? Because a lot of women aren't interested in that.
My journey into firearms is actually very much of a stumble. It was during the pandemic, and everybody was wired up, kind of, just like, I feel so vulnerable. How do I protect myself? And then it was kind of like looking for something athletic to do at the same time. And then my husband was into it already, into tactical training and everything as a firearms instructor. So I was like, you know what? You say you be out here teaching people, teach me, okay? And then
I know that's right.
I'll start shooting a rifle if you buy me a pink one. And he made me a pink one. So that's kind of how I started getting into it, though. And then I started like talking to more women, like, is anybody else into this? Is this like weird? Am I the only one? And then finding out more and more women. I found some women that were, but a lot of women were not. And was like, girl, what are you out here doing? Who you mad at? And stuff like that.
Right.
I ended up kind of finding like a gap or a void that could be filled. And I just kind of started spreading the word a little bit more, getting like, so you can still be cute. You can still be yourself. You can still maintain your femininity and still train to protect yourself, because it's important, because who gonna do it if you don't?
I think a lot of people, not even just women, like, 911 take time. It take time for them to get there. They get there. That's not a dig at the boys in blue, because I rock with y'all. That's not a dig. It's just what it is. You might be 20 minutes out, and it might be a situation like
right.
What do we do in the meantime? Like, so
reactive. So sometimes you only got seconds to literally act. Seconds make the difference between saving your life. So, like you said, it takes them some time, and we ain't got that. So
you don't.
Our first line of defense, unfortunately.
Yo, you don't. So one of the things when I first met you that I loved about you, because when we were in Dallas, that was the first time I was in a space where it was all women who were like in the firearms. Because like it's like you said, I was like, damn, am I the only one?
Yeah.
And then I got there and it was like a bunch of us. I was like, oh shit, this is great.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool because you said something really important, and I'm gonna try and get Trigger Queen on here eventually. She's hilarious.
That's my girl.
I know her eyelashes. I was looking at. She was posting. She was doing something? I was like, you and them damn eyelashes, girl.
No, she probably gonna see this and really get on me like, friend.
I know. I know. We'll do it. We'll get her on. We'll get all them on like a straight IG live, and we'll just like bust it up.
That'd be
real.
That'd be fun.
No, that would be fun. But the thing I love, like you said, that when I met you guys, like I felt like everybody was like feminine and cute and just in the guns. I was like, well, this is lovely. Like it, you know, it was just it was a different environment, and it was great to be around other people who felt the way I felt in terms of the importance of exercising those rights. So I guess my first question for you, or really this is my second, is like how do you what is your overall view on gun rights? Who do you feel should have access to it? And do you think it's like something everybody should take advantage of?
Absolutely. I hate to kind of rest on, I like to be a contrarian conformist and not go with the popular opinion, but I do
Hmm.
think gun rights are human rights. Like,
Yeah.
why, if we've all agreed collectively, this is the most effective and efficient tool possible to save our lives in a situation where, if it can take effect or if it can make a difference. But we all agree collectively to that, but we don't agree that everybody should have access. I mean, it logically, when it tries to compute, it doesn't make sense to me
Hmm.
why you would be able to and you wouldn't exercise that right. I think everybody should have that right. I know it's up to the states, but
Yeah.
I mean, people got to get out and vote and really ensure, especially the high crime areas, people got to really get out and vote and ensure that they have the ability to exercise that right. It is extremely important because, like you said earlier, the cops take time to get there.
They
Crime
do.
is going up in all areas, honestly. So I truly do believe that anybody who wants to have access to a firearm, of stable mental capacity, can take the proper training needed and everything, do a background check, pass everything you need to do, get your paperwork in order, get your gun.
Hmm.
I mean, you can go
Yeah.
as slow as you need to, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have, for sure.
I think a lot of people are super fearful. And me and Antonia actually talked about this when I had her on, that a lot of people are just scared and they think guns do bad things when because it's an inanimate object, like it only does what the person who's holding it does.
Exactly.
So I think a lot of people again are fearful. So because you are an instructor, you're an instructor now, right? You're an instructor
Right.
too. Am I
Yeah.
the only one who's not an instructor?
You gotta get on the train, girl.
Girl. All right.
It's a
I
commitment, but
get it.
it's worth it. It's dope. It's worth it. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna one more thing to study for. I'm gonna get on it. I'm the only
It's
one who's
so
not an
busy.
instructor.
Take your time though.
I,
I know
I
you.
know. Girl. I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be left out.
Now you gotta get on
Um,
the train.
how do you deal with people first timers who are afraid? Like, when they come in and they're like, I never, and they're like how do you ease the mind of a first timer?
um, as an naturally anxious person myself, I get it. I was that way initially. I
Mhm.
didn't, but a lot of times, well, most of the time, fear comes from like a lack of understanding. So we break down the mechanics. Like, this is a tool. This is
Right.
metal put together. It's gunpowder. It does not fire unless you make it fire. It doesn't do anything if
Mhm.
there's no ammo. We're gonna sit in here and we're gonna stare at it. I don't care
Yeah.
how long we look at it. It's not gonna do anything by itself. Like, we of course, you always emphasize the gun safety, the points of firearm safety, but you have to break down those barriers of fear. It takes you have to start there. It usually helps to start like in a calmer classroom setting, somewhere that's not at the range. The range can be really intimidating, especially to somebody that
Yes.
has that
For
fear.
new people. I
Especially
agree.
indoor ranges, contrary to popular belief. But
Yeah.
start slow. Start like, hey girl, you can come over here and we can sit on the couch and we can take it apart. We can load it, we can unload it, I can show you how to do that, pick it up. A lot of people haven't have a gun, but they haven't even picked it up and like held it. Like,
Mhm.
it's a method to the madness, but that's kind of where we start. We start with the logical things first, the science behind it. This is what it does. This is how it cycles. This is how it performs. This is what it needs to perform. So usually once we get past that, unlike everything you've seen, not everything, but most of the things you've seen on movies are not real. It won't
Yeah.
just lots of things just won't happen mechanically. There will be so many more lawsuits. So we like I combat it with the science, honestly, up front.
I like that. That's true. A lot of people think it is like the movies. Like some of the stuff people try to do and think they're gonna do when they really get a firearm in their hand. They're like, oh, I'm like, I promise you ain't gonna be like this. I
Right,
promise. Like it
right.
that thing start kicking, you gonna probably need two hands. So that's an emergency. Like, what are you doing? It's not
Exactly.
the movies.
That right. When you first started shooting, were you like, okay, this ain't like what they said it was this isn't what I
No, like it takes training, which we can get into that when we talk about the actual tactical training. It takes training to be able, as I like to say, run and gun. It
yes.
is a whole nother skill set.
And you'll embarrass yourself when you jump out there trying to do it. Like, all right, come on, I'm gonna move and shoot. You think so? Shoot what?
Yeah, out of breath,
Right. I'm like,
girl.
why am I holding my breath? You don't even realize some of the things you're doing. You have to be very aware of your whole homeostasis, truly. Like
And
breathing,
relax.
accent. Exactly. That's why I was like, it was wild to me how intricate and like tedious actual like shooting and learning to properly shoot and have the proper mechanics is. It's kind of the simple concept, but to actually be good at it, it takes some wanting that to pursue
Yeah.
for sure.
Who who do you get mostly for students? Mostly men or women?
I actually have not officially taught a large class yet, so it's just been
Okay.
close
One
friends.
on ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom's friends. My mom is in her 50s, so her friends are 50s, 60s, and they like, you know what? I got 3 guns. I ain't never shot none of them. I was like, how do you know they work? And they were like, that's a good question. Like small things like that. So I was like, okay, so we'll learn this other stuff first. This is what you do. This is how you unload, load. This is how you cycle your magazine. This is how you do everything.
Yeah.
But we gonna wait for the range until
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I've definitely done like some little intro stuff just to kind of get my feet wet with the training and everything. So but that's an art as well, like properly training people, like transferring that knowledge and that skill to other people.
Yes.
That's a skill in itself, like especially like you a teacher, so
Girl. Girl.
everybody ain't the same.
They not. Some people need a little more time, a little more work.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
do. All right. What's your favorite fire? What's your favorite long gun and what's your favorite handgun?
My favorite long gun is definitely the AR-15. Mine is chambered in 5.56. So
Okay.
but I like to like Franken build. Like I'll get something simple and then I'll get like interchangeable parts, like change out the bolt carrier group, change out different things like that. So just to make it operate more functionally and add some pink in there if I can. But
Yo, you stay putting pink on it. Stay putting
if
pink
it
on
come
it,
in
girl.
pink,
Oh
exactly.
god.
But my EDC, my favorite is actually like a custom Glock 19 platform handgun I have, but
Okay.
it's a little bit bigger. So my everyday carry favorite is my
Yeah.
Rose. But I got the 9mm with comp, and I added up.
Oh, you got a SIG. Your SIG is your everyday carry?
Mm-hmm.
Me
I find room for that, baby.
too.
Yep.
I gotta no lies. No. My everyday carry is a Smith and Wesson MP Shield. Lies.
Oh,
I'm
that's
thinking about something else. I love the shield. It's actually a little too small for my hands, but I'm proficient with it, so I don't care.
I mean, that's what it takes. That's all it takes. Only take
Yeah,
one.
I'm
One
super.
weapon.
I won't miss. Yeah, I
Yeah,
won't
I
miss with that
actually
one.
I carried the Hellcat before this, but and
Mhm.
it was great. It's good. It's super concealable. I like it. I love the optic I had on it and everything, but it's just really snappy. And I think, like to your point, it's a little small, so it kind of jumps up out of your hand a little bit. So I definitely like the 9mm SIG because that compensator makes it shoot so much flatter. So that's my baby right now.
That's your baby right now. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So you're in a good state. You're in Texas. You're in a good
Yeah, that's
state.
why I'd be like, hey, y'all, I'm sorry. They pretty much do what they want to do out here.
Yeah. So I was in New Jersey. Now I'm in Philly. So when I was in Jersey, I could only have a 10 round mag. which I know yeah, there was the rules. You could
None
on
of
every
my
even for a long gun. Even for a long gun.
What?
10-round mag. That's just the rules in New Jersey. When I first got my my permit in Jersey, we could have 15s, and literally I remember buying a HK, a H&K, and the guy said to me, he said, "Look," he said, "I think they're about to vote and change the laws." He said, "So I'm gonna give you these two 10-round mags, because if that's the case, you're not gonna be able to use these two 15s that you just bought." And he was right. They
I
changed the
don't know. I've
laws.
seen a 10-round mag for a rifle. It's
Oh, I
always
have one, girl.
20.
I got one on my Modern Warfare. Is a 10-round, but I have a double sided, so it's 10, and then I just drop and flip because I was in Jersey. But
Okay.
now I'm in PA, so I'm gonna get like probably 100 round or something.
So
I'm
you
gonna
can.
probably I'm gonna get a barrel. Get a
Oh Lord.
barrel.
There's
I'm
a
gonna be that person. I'm
That
just gonna look
gun
like a
would be
Tommy
so
gun.
hot. That gun would be so hot.
I'm gonna get a barrel. I'm gonna get 100 rounder just because
That's
to
funny
make
you
up
said
for
that.
all the
I
stuff.
love seeing them crazy TikToks where people have like this little handgun and they have like this 100-pound drum. I'm like, can you get through 15 rounds without a malfunction? Because some guys we look like they be
Uh,
struggling already. So
Girl,
you
and
should have.
them malfunctions ain't a joke.
That's a mess. I'm like, well, I mean, gratefully we don't. I have not encountered scenarios or areas where I live in Texas that have required me to feel compelled to carry.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
we can go into the
Agreed.
pumpkin patch and stuff. Like I don't need that for out there, but I do believe in carrying two magazines. I do believe in that. Carry spare mag.
Well, I have an
I,
8 round in my shield, so I carry 3.
where you put them? Do you put them? Do you keep them in the same? No, we ain't gonna tell. We ain't
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we talk about where they at offline,
I
but
know.
yeah, I know. I carry 3
Various
because
accessible locations.
they 8, and I can't. That one is a small one anyway, but I have a Ruger. My Ruger has 15, but I that's in Florida. I gotta go pick that one up. But my Ruger has 15. I love that one. That's beautiful. And I think I can even do 19 on that one.
It's really good for training too, because it's irritating when you're really trying to train and you got to keep reloading.
Switching it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I got to shoot. Right when you're getting hot, you got to go back and reload mag. So,
Yeah, try that with 8.
you do a
Yo,
lot of
you would
work.
be mad. Try that with 8. It's terrible. Try it with 8. You would be like, what? Like literally, as soon as you start to get into the rhythm and everything is starting to group nice, I'm like, need another mag.
Stressed. I'm
Every
like,
time.
time to go.
Every time.
It's time to go.
Girl. Every time. How often do you train?
I have backed off just a tiny bit here recently, just when I was studying for instructor certifications, just kind of getting some other things in order. But I do get to the range at least like twice a month, and we spend like all day there because we go to the outdoor range. So we like to
Yeah.
get some of everything in. And like if you don't shoot very often, you have to get the warm up drills in first. So we out there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was going every week. Like I would go every week just for an hour, just like do like 100, maybe 100 rounds. Take my, each
Mhm.
every 10 to 15, something different to
Yeah.
focus on. Now I don't go as much as I definitely don't go as much as I should. Like I think the last time I shot was when I was with y'all, and
I think
that's
I've
what I'm
shot
saying.
twice since then. It's been, man, and then it's getting hot too, and you train outside. But
Hmm.
and ammo is expensive. Like I know, like a lot of women when they first get into it, like I want to get a firearm. Can you? They'll call me from the gun store, and they're like, well, there's this, and it's 200 this or whatever. And I'm like, I want to
Hmm.
meet somebody where they are as far as they budget. I never want to tell them like, don't do that. That's not worth it, because something is truly better than nothing, whether it's even just
Absolutely.
or intimidation. But I will describe, I'll tell them, get this certain, like, look at Canic or look at Sig or Springfield.
Yeah.
Like Girl, them prices, like I did not know firearms was so expensive, and then it might come with one mag, and then you gotta buy multiple mags, and then of course you gotta buy the ammo. Then if you want to optical, you gotta have a holster or a belly band to carry it, or a bag that you can fit it in, or a fanny pack. Then you gotta learn. Then you gotta pay for the training if you're paying for training, you know, and range time. It can add up. So I definitely always encourage people to utilize dry firing. You can do 85-90% of your training at home, just strictly drawing and doing all that. And then when you get to the range, it's just the follow through. You just have to get used to the recoil and the sound and just get better with the accuracy. But the grip, the important pieces, the grip, the trigger control,
trigger squeeze. Yeah, I was just
all that. You can work on that at home. But to your earlier point, you have to get over that fear first, because a lot of people just think there's not a round in sight, but some kind of way they think this gun is going to explode on its own or something. So I know it's levels to it, but I definitely get my dry firing in if I'm not training like I should, or like I would like to.
Well, then I definitely need to start dry firing. I was trying to go last week and I got jammed up and I didn't go. So now you're making me feel bad. So now I gotta go.
And when you're at home by yourself, you're gonna feel so silly, but literally practice cover and concealment and things like that.
Yeah.
Like people, I'm like, hey, one of the main things you need to do in a situation is not get shot, not get injured yourself. So you need to understand you could be protecting yourself all you want, but you have to be backing up, getting off the X, trying to get to safety, get behind covers. So even things like that. So when you at home and you feeling, get behind them corners with your rifle, with your handgun, and do all that. And make it more fun, because dry firing is mundane. Like you get 100 reps in, you do it over and over. Nobody do that all the time. So make it fun.
Girl. It's a hobby. Tactical cool dad said, or at least understand the difference between cover and concealment. No, I agree with you. A lot of people don't know the difference. So so let's talk about it. Thanks, tactical cool dad. All right, so let's talk about the difference between cover and concealment, because that was one of the first. I have an amazing gun instructor. Let me tell you, this dude, when I first met him, I went to some range way out in Bumblehoo. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get out here, be the only black person.
Take it back.
And then I get out there, I was still probably the only black person. But can I tell you, and I tell people this all the time, the 2A community is just like, you like guns? I like guns. What's up? Like, it was the most accepting place I have ever been. Ever.
I love to hear that.
I stand on that. And when people be like, no, you go there and it's Trumpers, this is that. I'm like, I said, go to a range. I said, most accepting group of people I've ever been with are 2A people.
Absolutely. It's like,
don't
as long
nobody
as
care.
Desire to learn, you being safe, you're not being ignorant, and everybody's out there with the same goal. Like you said, you like guns, I like guns. You want to protect yourself? You take this serious? Okay, cool. How often you here? We can try. Like, we've just randomly started training with so many people, just off conversation, just off identifying under the same like value. So as far as that concerned. But yes,
so let's talk about cover and concealment.
Yes. In short, cover protect you or shield you from fire, from bullets, from rounds, and concealment doesn't. It hides you. You can hide, conceal your location briefly, but you should always move as well. Like, there's a such thing as cover expiration and things like that. But in short, cover will stop a bullet, concealment won't.
Concealment won't. That drywall will not help you.
It won't.
The drywall will not help you.
That's the thing. And like, a lot of people will say, like, because I even say, when you go somewhere, like, don't, relax and prioritize and prepare. Just don't be paranoid, just case your exits, see, are you close to them? And then look for the cover versus the concealment, like bar tops, concrete pillars, things like that. But nah, hide behind that table, that curtain, that door, that wall, that's not going to do it. So
Yo, that is a whole nother episode. Oh my God.
hey, that's how you can save your life, truly.
It is.
If you don't have a weapon, get behind some cover.
I know that's right.
Behind some
I
cover.
know that's right. Yeah, that will save your life. You ain't never lied.
Yeah.
So,
Something.
so if you could leave the audience with one thing, like one thing that you think they should know, one about you, and two just about firearm safety, like your beliefs and what you stand on when it comes to that.
I'll start with the easy thing. The firearm.
Dang, I thought you was gonna go the other way.
Firearm safety, I would say, aside from the 4 universal firearm safety rules, I would truly say if you're gonna carry a weapon and you're going to be serious about using it in the event that you feel like your life is threatened, you have a responsibility to train. You have a responsibility to train. I understand and abide by the 4 universal gun safety rules, but just train. Like, get to know you have a responsibility. It's a big responsibility to carry, so you have the responsibility to train and ensure, not just on how to use that firearm, but on the legal ramifications of using it in situations like that. A lot of people neglect that. So I would say that would be the most important thing. If you are going to carry, you need to train. You don't have to spend a ton of money. There's lots of online resources that are actually very reliable. And then you can also check my website for classes soon. But yeah, just make sure you get your training in. And something to leave about me. If I can do this, y'all can do this. I came from 10 feet in front of me, barely hitting the paper, like not inside the target, like just the paper.
The paper, the white part.
Right. To moving and shooting pretty proficiently. So, in training others to do the same and to have the same confidence and stuff. So, just don't think that you have this pressure to be Halle Berry from John Wick tomorrow or anything like that. Like, just start with not being afraid, start with being safe, and then just embark on the journey. No, it's expensive when you do it, but it is very much worth it because your personal safety depends on it and you owe it to yourself.
Yo, I love that. My gun instructor used to say to me, he said, I tell people all the time, you have 2 options for hobbies. He said, you can either get into guns or golf. He said, they both cost the same amount of money, but one will save your life. And I was like, you are so right, bro.
Man.
So after that, I stopped playing golf. Golfing.
And it's
golf is expensive. Yeah, golf is expensive too. So I was like, all right, I can't golf because I got to focus on this. But all right, I'm going to close this out. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to bring you back in. Don't you go nowhere.
Okay.
All right, fam. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Do Work Podcast. This is part of my new series called Tactical Talks. And, each time we do one of these, I'll have a firearm instructor on or somebody just talking about gun safety. And I'm into it. I told y'all, my platform changed in 2024. I'm into it. I've been heavy the last 5 years. So I think it's something we should talk about and share because it's important. Everybody gets weird about gun rights. It's a hot topic, especially in the election year, but we're going to talk about it anyway. All right, guys. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Stephen Richards Do Work Podcast on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. I love you. And as always, be blessed. Have a great night. Let's go.